Welcome to today's story, a timeless tale of compassion, loyalty, and the consequences of greed. This is the story of the Bodhisattva, who in a past life was born as a great ape. It is a story that teaches us about trust, integrity, and the profound impact of our actions. Long ago, in a beautiful land by the side of the Himalayas, there lived a great ape, a bodhisattva, in a past life. The forest where he resided was breathtaking. The ground shimmered with the colors of precious ores, and dense foliage wrapped the land in a silken embrace. Waterfalls cascaded down mountainsides, and the air was sweet with the scent of blossoms and fruits. This peaceful place was home to many creatures, but the great ape lived a humble life. He roamed the woods like a hermit, living on wild fruits and leaves, and offering compassion to all who crossed his path. One day, a man arrived in this forest. He was a traveler who had become lost while searching for a cow that had strayed away. Exhausted from hunger, fatigue, and the scorching sun, he collapsed under a tree. There, he noticed ripe, red-brown tinduki fruits on the ground, delicious and soothing to his hunger. But as the man searched for the source of the fruits, he discovered a tinduki tree growing on the edge of a waterfall. Its branches hung over the cascading water, heavy with fruit. Desperate for nourishment, the man climbed up the tree, but the branch he stood on was too weak to hold his weight. With a sharp snap, it broke, and the man fell into a deep, cavernous pit beneath the waterfall. The pit was deep and inaccessible. The man, now trapped, saw no way out. He despaired, weeping bitterly for his fate. "Who will save me?" he thought. "I am alone in this dark hole. Death will be my only companion." For days he remained there, living off the fruit and water that had fallen with him. Meanwhile, the great ape, searching for food, was drawn to the tinduki tree. As he gazed over the edge of the waterfall, he saw the man, weak and emaciated, his eyes sunken from hunger. Moved by compassion, the ape decided to help. "Fear not," said the great ape. "I will help you. Tell me how you came to be here." The man, overcome with gratitude, explained his plight. The ape, seeing the man's suffering, promised to help him escape the pit. With great effort, the ape descended into the pit, his heart full of compassion. "Climb on to my back and hold on tightly," the ape instructed. Despite the heavy burden, the ape carried the man out of the pit, his strength and will unwavering. After the rescue, the ape, exhausted from the effort, lay down on a rock to rest. He was pure-hearted and trusted the man completely. "Sleep well," the ape said, "but please guard me while I rest. There are dangers in this forest, and I am vulnerable." But as the great ape fell into a deep sleep, the man's heart darkened. Weak and hungry, his mind became clouded with greed. "I must survive," he thought, "and the flesh of this ape could save me." Despite the ape's kindness, the man decided to betray him. He picked up a large stone and, with trembling hands, hurled it at the ape's head. The stone struck the ape, but not with full force. The ape stirred, hurt but not severely, and immediately saw the man standing there, shamefaced and afraid. The great ape's eyes filled with tears, not for his injury, but for the man's lost path. "How could you do this?" the ape asked, his voice full of sorrow. "I saved you from death, and yet you repay me with betrayal. You have destroyed your own honor and trust." Despite his pain, the ape did not seek revenge. Instead, he grieved for the man, knowing that his treachery would lead to greater suffering. "I will take you out of this forest," the ape said. "But remember this, You must never harm your friends, for such actions bring only sorrow. The ape led the man to the edge of the forest, where he could return to civilization. But the man's remorse was heavy. Soon, his body was ravaged by leprosy. His skin became disfigured, his body twisted with ulcers. People who saw him in this state rejected him, thinking him a demon. His appearance had changed so much that even his voice no longer resembled that of a human. In his suffering, the man realized the true consequences of his greed and betrayal. One day, the king of the land, out on a hunt, encountered the man in his miserable state. Curious and fearful, the king asked, "What has become of you? Are you a ghost or some wicked creature?" The man replied, "I am a human, great king, but my treachery has led to this punishment. I betrayed the very one who saved me, and now I am a living example of what greed can do." The man shared his story with the king, explaining how his actions had ruined his life. He spoke of the consequences of betrayal and the importance of loyalty. "Those who harm their friends," he said, "will suffer, but those who cherish and protect their friends will find happiness and peace." The king listened thoughtfully, understanding the deep lesson. And so, this story teaches us that the path of greed and betrayal leads to pain and suffering, while the path of compassion and loyalty brings peace and joy. The great ape, who was the Bodhisattva in a past life, showed us that even in the face of harm, one can respond with love and care, for such is the true way of wisdom. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, kindness and loyalty are always rewarded, while betrayal and greed only bring sorrow. Stay true to your friends, and may you always choose the path of compassion